What if the sun never set? A young man was looking up at the sky, watching the clouds move by. He had just finished his work for the day and was preparing to go home. But he couldn't help but stare at the sky for a long time. The clouds were beautiful, constantly changing shapes and colors. It was one of those days that made him feel alive. He sighed and stretched. Even though it was late in the evening, he felt like he could keep staring at the clouds forever. But he knew he should probably head home soon. It was getting dark, and he didn't want to be outside alone in the dark. He stood up and started walking towards home. As he walked, he couldn't help but think about how beautiful the world would be if the sun never set. He thought about how amazing it would be to always have daylight, to never have to worry about the sun going down and leaving us in darkness. He imagined what it would be like to always be able to see the beautiful clouds and the stars in the sky. He thought about how much more time we would have to do the things we love if we didn't have to spend half of every day sleeping. The young man had been thinking about this for a while now. He had even written down some of his thoughts in a notebook. One day he decided to do something crazy. He quit his job, packed up his things, and bought a ticket to a faraway land. He didn't know exactly where he was going, but he knew that he wanted to be somewhere where the sun never sets. When he arrived in his destination, he was amazed. The sky was filled with bright stars, and the temperature was perfect. It was always warm and sunny, just like he had dreamed. He spent his days exploring the area around him, and he couldn't believe how beautiful it was. He went swimming in the ocean, climbed mountains, and hiked through forests. He met new people and learned about their culture. The young man had finally found the place he had been looking for all his life. It was a place where the sun never sets, and the sky is always filled with stars. And as he looked up at the sky one night, he saw something that made him gasp. There was a shooting star. He closed his eyes and made a wish. He wished that everyone in the world could see the beauty of the night sky like he was seeing it now. He wished that people would never forget what it feels like to be truly happy. When he opened his eyes, the shooting star was gone. But then he saw something else that made him smile. In the distance, he saw the northern lights dancing across the sky. He had never seen them before, but he knew that they were there to welcome him. The young man continued to explore his new home. He visited ancient ruins and explored caves. He went on safari and saw wild animals in their natural habitat. He even swam with dolphins. The more he explored, the more he realized that this place was more than just a dream come true. It was a place where he could find himself. He had spent so much time searching for happiness in other people and things that he had forgotten to look inside himself. But when he came to this place, he realized that he had always had the power to make himself happy. All he needed was to appreciate the beauty around him and to remember what was really important in life. One day, the young man was sitting on a beach watching the waves crash on the shore. He had been here for months now, and he still wasn't tired of the beauty around him. He looked up at the sky and saw a bird flying overhead. It was the first time he had seen a bird since he had arrived here. He thought about how lucky he was to be in this place. He knew that not everyone was as fortunate as he was. Some people would never get the chance to see the beauty of nature or the wonder of the night sky. He thought about all the people he had met on his journey who had been so kind and welcoming. He knew that he would never forget them. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He was grateful for everything he had experienced and for everything he had learned. He knew that he would never be the same person again. And as the sun began to set, he knew that it was time to go home. He had found what he was looking for, but now it was time to share it with the world. He wanted to tell everyone about the beauty he had seen and the happiness he had found. He wanted to inspire other people to find their own happiness and to appreciate the beauty around them. When he returned home, he was a changed man. He was more confident, more open-minded, and more grateful. He started talking to people about his experiences, and he was amazed by their reactions. People loved hearing about his adventures, and they were inspired by his story. He started a blog and wrote about everything he had seen and done. He posted pictures of the amazing places he had visited and the beautiful people he had met. He even started a YouTube channel and made videos about his experiences. To his surprise, he became an overnight sensation. People from all over the world were following his adventures and learning about the different cultures and places he was visiting. He traveled to many more places and met so many interesting people. He went to the Amazon rainforest and saw amazing animals. He climbed Mount Kilimanjaro and saw the beauty of Africa. He went to India and experienced the vibrant culture and spirituality. He traveled all around Europe and saw the historical landmarks and beautiful art. He never forgot the lessons he had learned in that faraway land. He never stopped appreciating the beauty around him, and he never lost sight of what was really important in life. He continued to share his experiences with the world and inspire other people to find their own happiness. And as the years went by, he realized that his journey had just begun. He had so much more to see and learn, and he couldn't wait to start exploring. He knew that the world was full of beauty and wonder, and he was grateful to be able to experience it all. One day, while the young man was traveling through a remote village, he came across a group of children playing by the side of the road. They were laughing and playing, and their joy was contagious. He stopped to watch them for a moment and couldn't help but smile. He thought about how lucky he was to be able to travel the world and experience all the beauty it had to offer. But he also realized that the greatest beauty of all was the people he had met along the way. The children playing by the roadside were a reminder of this. Their innocence and joy were a reminder of the simple pleasures in life. He knelt down and asked the children if they wanted to play with him. They readily agreed, and soon they were all playing together. The young man realized in that moment that the greatest adventure of all was the journey of life itself. Every day was a new opportunity to experience the beauty of the world and the people in it. As he played with the children, he felt a sense of peace and contentment. He had found what he had been searching for all his life, not in a faraway land, but in the journey itself. He realized that the beauty of the world was all around him, and that all he had to do was open his eyes to see it. From that day on, the young man continued to travel the world, but he did so with a newfound appreciation for the beauty of life itself. He knew that the greatest adventure of all was the journey, not the destination. He embraced every moment, every experience, and every person he encountered along the way. And so the legend of the young man who chased the sun became a tale whispered around campfires, a story of adventure, self-discovery, and the beauty of the world. For those who listened, it was a reminder that the greatest adventure of all was the journey of life itself.